Okay, today we're going to look at solving for quadratic equations by factoring when a is not equal to 1. So you're only allowed to factor when we have a quadratic and there are 3 terms. And when I say you're only allowed to factor, I mean factor in this way. Okay, so we have two options for a equal 1 or a not equal to 1. And today we're going to look at a not equal to 1. So in this example, we're going to use this method, slide, divide, bottoms up. So what I want to do is I want to do this slide where, and if you recall from before, we were multiplying a times c. And so a times c in this case is 30. And we're going to look at all the factors of 30. We have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4, no, 5, and 6. Now I want to see which of these could possibly add up to negative 17, and the only choice is going to be this 5 and this 2. And so just like before, we're going to write that down, x minus 2 and x minus 15. Now why did I choose minus for both? Because negative 2 and negative 15 makes negative 17 when I add them together. Now this middle step here is the divide. So I'm going to divide both 2 and 15 by a, and my a value was 5. So that is x minus 2/5 and x minus 15 over 5. Okay, now I want to completely simplify. So 2/5 is already simplified, so I don't need to do anything with 2/5. So I can bring that piece down, x minus 2/5, but 15 over 5 is 3. So I'm going to write that as x minus 3. Now the last step is bottoms up. So I take this bottom number and move it to the front. So I have 5x minus 2, x minus 3. Okay, so let's do 2 more examples on the inside. Okay, and two more examples. This one is 2x squared minus 14, x plus 20. So what I want to do is 2 times 20 first. So 2 times 20 is 40. We got 1, 40, 2, 20, 3, no, 4, 10, 5, 8, and nothing else. So now I want to equal negative 14. So which of these possible combinations give me negative 14 and positive 40? Well, if this is positive and this is negative, they both have to be negative. And that leaves us with only one option, this option right here. So now, just like before, I'm going to write down the two pieces, x minus 4, x minus 10, and don't forget the equal to 0. Now, in this bottoms up, slide, divide, bottoms up method, we need to divide by our piece here. So I have x minus 4 over 2, x minus 10 over 2 equals 0. And then I simplify these as much as possible, and that would be x minus 2, x minus 5 equals 0. Now, there's a reason why this time we don't have a bottom piece, and that's because at the beginning they all had a common factor of 2. And so that common factor of 2 can be written outside. And so if you're using this slide, divide, bottoms up method and there's nothing left, there's no piece here or no piece here, it means that the thing that you're dividing by factored out at the beginning, and so you need to just re-add that at the beginning. Okay? Now, this last one, let's see, what do we have here? We have 2x squared minus 13x plus 20. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times 20 again. And since we already factored on the other side of the page, we already know that the factor that could be 13 is got to be 5 and 8. Okay, and that's going to be negative 13. So we write those down, minus 5, x minus 8. Remember, don't forget the 0. And then I do the divide piece now. X minus 5 over 2, x minus 8 over 2 equal to 0. And then I simplify, and so this is already as simplified as possible, so that's x minus 5 halves, and this is x minus 4. And bottoms up means move this to the front, so we get 2x minus 5 times x minus 4 equals 0. And we're finished factoring. So in this bottoms up method, you need to be careful to remember that if you had a piece at the front that could have factored out, it's not going to show up in this piece. It won't be there. So you have to remember to add that piece back to the front, or to factor it out first and then do the normal method where you'll end up with x minus 4, x minus 10, and then you would have this 2 on the outside. So just remember that if they all have something that can be factored out, you can still do this method, you just need to add it back at the beginning.